Come with me on another adventure. This time we're in Plynlimon, which is the highest mountain in the Cambrian Mountains. Summit camp, amazing views, cloud, blue sky. It's got the lot. So there's an obligatory walk in today, of course, but it's on a very good track, and I'm walking up the side of a lovely, pretty stream. Look at that blue sky. Even had to put sunscreen on. Sunscreen? Sunscreen on. Not sure how the legs are going to put up with this hill, but I must say, when I put on my pack, it feels really comfy and not too heavy. And in fact, it's got me wondering, what have I left behind? I always do this. I always think, oh, I've got food, I've got a tent, I've got a sleeping bag. There must be something I've left behind. The weather lately has been horrendous. Really wet, windy, generally miserable. So I'm expecting the ground to be quite waterlogged once I have to leave the nice gravel tracks. And I've just realised I haven't told the folks back home when I'm going to be back. This is one of the nicest walk-ins. It's a really good track, gentle gradient, lovely views all around. Sun, nice and warm on the skin, gentle breeze, mostly blue sky. So, I'm really chuffed now. Really glad I came out. Really glad. I reached the old mine workings. Still quite good shape actually. The remnants of the buildings, and there's a big sluice channel down there as well. Quite sort of an eerie feel, isn't it, when you come across old sort of abandoned buildings and it's sort of haunted. Because it looks like a slightly steeper gradient now, but it would be, wouldn't it? Water. There are lots of nice patches of snow around, and they're getting bigger as we get nearer the top. So my cunning plan is to melt some snow. There are some streams. There's a streams of either side of me, one over there. If I was really bothered, then I'd just make a detour to fill up there. But I'm not bothered. I can't be bothered, so I'm going to carry on up to the top. I can hear the roar of sounds like fighter jets, two of them in the sky. I was trying to see them. I can't see them, but they're up there somewhere. And I was like the fable of the penguins on the Falklands here, looking up and up and up and up, and nearly falling over backwards trying to spot them in the sky. I'm at the top. Hey, it's nice up here. Let me see, what have we got? Reservoir down there. You can see the wind blowing across it. Fantastic views. I can see the sea just over there. It's a bit gloomy to the south, and to the north I can just about make out Caladris. Oh, there we are. Oh, this is a cool place. It's lovely, rolling hills and vistas. See the lake down below. And there's going to be a great sunset. I wonder if I can find a spot that's not too exposed to the breeze, but it's still going to get some nice sunshine this evening. See this big grin? I've never been here before, and I'm really glad I came. It's not, the walk up here from the road, it's not too bad, but the payoff, this is a glorious place. Right, that's enough of waxing lyrical. Time to get a bit more practical. I'm going to check the wind forecast for the strength and direction, and then see about finding a nice place to stick the tent. You wouldn't believe how long I've spent wandering around this summit area trying to decide where to put my tent. To be honest, I'm spoiled for choice because there's loads of places that I find. Any one of the places I looked at I would happily take in a pinch, but I'm being very fussy. I want a view over there, the sea and the sunset. I really want a view of that, but I don't want to be in the wind, and unfortunately that's the direction the wind's coming from. But I think I found my spot. Going to be just here, slightly elevated, but a little bit back from the ridge, so hopefully you won't get buffeted by the wind too much. So I think it's time made my mind up and got the tent up, rather than just wandering around aimlessly dithering. The ground, although it looks nice and grassy here, is deceptive. It lies beneath about a centimetre of grass. It's rock, broken rocks and stones. This is my happy place, isn't it? Faffing around with the pitch of my tent. And all around, fantastic views all around. Woo! It's brilliant. With a bit of luck, the sunset will shine straight into the tent door, which is going to be magical. So I've got Sisiri Peak right behind me, and the main peak with the trig point is over there as well, unmistakable. Blue sky, and just occasionally the roar of an RAF jet zooming around. But the sun's going down and the temperature's dropping, getting a bit chilly now, so I'm going to start getting everything sorted out inside the tent. Oh, things are coming together quite nicely now. So that's the sleep system pretty much sorted out. So I've got the foam mat, thermarest, the old trusty Leviathan, and I've got my Exped pillow. It's a lot lighter than the Tricology one. I've added on some bungees to hold it onto the thermarest, stop it moving around too much. I've been kind of rushing around, busy tasks, unpacking, getting everything sorted out, and I just turned around and saw the view out of the tent, and I just thought, you lucky sod, being up here looking at that view. So there was a poster shot for Lanshan and what it can do and places it can take you. This would be a good one, I think. Huh? I don't want to get in the tent. I don't want to get in the tent because it's such a fantastic place. So I like it a lot. Is that coming across? Charles waxes lyrical for about half an hour about how lucky he is. Right, one last job. I did get some water on the way up. Actually found a water source that looked pretty good. But what I'm going to do now is fill a bag up with some snow. And yes, I know, don't go near the yellow snows. Well, that's a good way to cool your fingers down in a hurry. Oh, I'm freezing. Oh, that feels good. Nicely inside the sleeping bag and things are warming up. It's a really nice feeling, isn't it, when you've been sort of stomping across the hills and you stop and get nice and comfortable and warm and settled in your tent for the night. I really enjoy that moment. I think it's time for a hot drink. Oh, those first sips of a hot drink. You can feel the hot liquid travelling down, can't you? And it's warming you up from the inside. The temperature outside the tent has dropped to just over 2 degrees. Quite a sudden drop when now the sun has set. So I'm quite glad I got into my sleeping bag nice and early. Oh, look at that steaming away. This is custard apple crunch. Nice and warm. Last thing is a bit of posh dark chocolate with orange. A couple of squares of this. So far so good. Let's hope tomorrow's just as good, and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. About 7 o'clock. Outside temperature is 0, and the breeze has picked up. I really love that feeling when you wake up with the sun hitting the side of the tent and shining and warming things up. Time to have a little peek outside the tent door, see what the weather's like, and yeah, get a hot brew on some porridge going, I think. Coffee's made, the porridge is made. In other news, you can probably see the tent moving around a bit. The breeze has got more fresh, so the wind is going to get steadily stronger through the day, southeasterly. So it shouldn't be too cold, hopefully, but it's going to be a clear, bright day, so it's going to be wonderful. But for the meantime, it's porridge time. Oh, good morning. So although the sky is blue, there's a little bit of hazy cloud around. And so 100 meters away, the trig point is just about visible. Oh, fresh though. So I think without further ado, think about packing up the tent before it gets any more windy. The clouds are just kind of clinging onto the hills, and every now and again they part, and it's like drawing back the curtains on a fantastic view. This is what wild camping gives you. The clouds scudding over the hills. It's fantastic. This is epic. I'm 2,400 feet up on the summit of Plynlimon. Snow, there's clouds scudding across the hilltops. It's an absolutely perfect day for ridge walking in the highest point of the Cambrian Mountains. It's fantastic walking over the hills here. It would be even better if there was a view. I know there is a view because every few seconds, every few minutes, the clouds part and I get a glimpse across the hills, and I stop and I get out the phone to do some filming, and the clouds come in again and the view disappears. And that's happened several times now. Me and the clouds are playing a little game of hide and seek. This is the main path I'm on now, and you know, it's basically still just a grass path. If this was in the Brecon Beacons, it would be a completely different story. So it makes a really nice change. There's more of a sense of wilderness, if you like. Right, that's the next summit reached, and here there are 3 odd tumuli in a row. I was going to say the cloud base is lifting, which is one of my usual favourite famous last words saying, because usually every time I say, oh, the cloud base is lifting, 10 seconds later it starts to rain. But it looks like things are clearing up a bit and the clouds are a bit higher now than they were. So, all of which means I've got better views. And in particular, I've got views over the hills that I'm going to be walking over next. My route now disappears down this slope, gently descending. It looks like it gets a bit more boggy down there as well, but I come down off this nice top with the snow patches. Right, I've got good news and bad news. Good news is that the My path onwards is really clear. There's a little path heading around the shoulder of the hill there. It's a track actually, looks good walking. So that's a continuation of the Cambrian Way, which I've been following for a mile or two. The bad news is that between here and there we've got a valley to go through, and it looks a little bit, shall we say, damp, and there's no path to speak of. So what you going to do? Just go for it, huh? I've been thrashing through this stuff, it seems like, for hours. It's just really tussocky, boggy ground. It's really tough going, because every step you don't know if you're going to be stepping up or down, and what's going to be under your feet. So I've made it down to the track, and looking down, that's the slope I came down. From now on, my route takes on a totally different feel, more tracks, but hopefully some stunning scenery too. But for now, I'm just sort of chilling, just having a sit in the sun and resting my legs for a bit, because that last mile or so was quite hard work. Well, it's turned out to be a delightful afternoon. The weather, I mean, it could be June, nice and warm, sunny, not early March, and my legs are just starting to say, yeah, I'm tired, I want a break. It's not good, we have to keep going. So I need to get to the other side of this stream, and there's no bridge, there's no stepping stones, there's a ford. Looks quite, looks okay. I don't know how deep it is. So, going to take off the shoes, roll up the trousers, and have an adventure. There's really no other way. It's just as well that I had a look around. There's a bridge. Right, that's the river successfully crossed, and according to the map I've got a climb of about 150 meters now to get up to the lake, so shall we say 500 feet. So not too far to go. I'm just hoping that there's a half decent path going up there. So now the usual hunt for somewhere to stick the tent. Now I chose this sort of general area because the prevailing winds are southeasterly, and so in theory this should be sheltered, but it's pretty breezy. It's pretty breezy. Now on a nice sheltered, nice calm day, there's a lovely spot here which has been ruined by some idiots lighting fires and leaving trash behind. Right, so I'm going to have to compromise, because although despite the trash it is nice and level and it's relatively dry, it's very exposed and the wind is stronger than I thought it would be. So I'm stomping around looking. Now there is a ruin of of building here. The actual where the building was, there's a solid floor, but I think I can possibly squeeze in next to it or behind it, get a bit of shelter down there. So I'm going to go down there and check it out. Right, there it is, pitched, and actually it's looking pretty solid, considering how gusty the wind is. The tent is really doing well. I've got it nice and tight, so it's going to be fine there tonight. This side of the tent facing the wind is sitting quite low to the, so hopefully that'll help give me some shelter. Right, so now just housekeeping stuff. So I've got to get some top up with water, send a satellite check-in to those at home to know where I am, and get in and get some food. I think actually this is not a bad spot, you know. There's lovely views and the hillside and everything. Yep, job done. Safely in the tent, in the sleeping bag, warming up nicely. It feels really good to be nice and comfy and cozy and warm. Now that I'm all settled in and warm and safe, I'm going to start thinking about some food because I'm quite hungry. All right, tent's flapping around a bit. I've had my food and drink. It's been a great day today. You probably got that impression from some of the way I was babbling on about how I was having a nice time. I'm really pleasantly tired, warm, comfortable, ready for a lovely night's sleep. So having said that, let's get my head down and I'll see you in the morning. Oh, good morning. Well, that was a wild night, and not for the right reasons. Very stormy, very blustery, and all through the night as well. The tent itself was absolutely fine, rock solid, good old Lanshan. There we go again. So yeah, it's quite early still, but I want to get up and over this here hill. So the order of the day is after breakfast, back up, and then straight away we've got about 600 feet to climb up. Not quite sure what route I'm going to take yet. We'll have a look in the cold light of day. But it's going to be very windy on top, so I need to make sure I'm dressed accordingly. So I've got to wear stuff that's not too hot for the climb up, but have some nice warm clothes ready to stick on as soon as I get up to the top. Right, anyway, enough talk. All this talk is by way of putting off the act of having to get out of the sleeping bag and get busy. Look at it. It's a different feel today. So the cloud base has dropped down hugely. So the tops are going to be totally in cloud. It's cold wind, it's this blustery wind that's been at it all night. The other way, there is occasional breaks in the cloud, but they're at quite a low level, so I don't expect we're going to see much on the tops. So there isn't much that makes me want to linger here, I have to say. The tent has been excellent, still standing firm. Top job, Lanshan. Right, so to be honest, I can see the path that I'm going to take. It winds its way up into the cloud. I did have a choice of routes, but I'm going to go for the best for navigation. So we'll go up onto that ridge. There's a fence at the top that we can follow up to the top, so that'll make life easier. It looks a slightly easier gradient as well. So, to be honest with you, I'm not hanging about this morning. It's bitterly cold on the hands, so I'm going to get the tent away, hit the trail. Well, I think hopefully that hill will warm me up a bit. Right, so I'm packed up. That's where I was. Well, I tell you, it's pretty windy. As I come up, the higher I get, the windier it gets, not surprisingly. And my camera spot is just about to disappear. It's just at the bottom of the copy there. Well, what a change! I don't know why I'm shouting. Visibility, 50 meters. I'm following the line of this fence, which is a very handy navigation guide, but apart from that, nothing to see here. Move along. Let's just keep. I'm just ticking off the miles, but in a strange way, it's incredibly exhilarating being out in the wild. The wind, it won't really come across, but it's incredibly gusty and bitterly cold. You can tell because I'm all bundled up, gloves on, just keeping moving as much as I can. Normally I'd have stopped for a drink and a bar of chocolate by now, but not today. Just gonna keep ploughing on. Right, so I'm nearly back at civilization. It's the last couple of miles, so that's 3 miles. Once I got past the summit of Plynlimon, the wind picked up extremely cold, extremely strong, and didn't want to really hang around, so I've been getting my head down and keeping going. I didn't want to stop really to sort of put on extra layers of gloves or anything. I decided the best thing to do was just to keep going fast, light, and get down out of the wind, which I'm pleased to say I now pretty much have, and I'm down the last half mile or so of good track down towards the car. So, closing thoughts a la Jerry Springer after a fantastic couple of nights out. It's been a trip of contrasts. That's what it is. First day, night, amazing. Still, cold, fresh, fantastic views, awesome, atmosphere. Yesterday was fantastic walking conditions, and yet, as the evening closed in last night, the wind picked up. It got colder. And last night was very blustery, and this morning I thought where I camped would be, I thought, well, it's quite sheltered here, why is it so windy? Well, the reason was that up on the top of the hill it was insanely windy and cold, so in fact where I was relatively sheltered after all. Thank you for joining me, thanks for watching this far. I really do appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it too.